Asperger syndrome is a neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by significant difficulties in social interaction and nonverbal communication. Throughout history, people such as Andy Warhol, Courtney Love, Emily Dickinson, and Vincent van Gogh have all been shown to have been diagnosed with some form of Asperger's, and they've all had one thing in common, and the fact is, they are all creative thinkers. But I know what you may be wondering. What does this have to do with Asperger's? People with Asperger's tend to think in ways that deviate from the normal methods that are used by people on a daily basis. But people who are not diagnosed with Asperger's may see our methods with a confused query, as you may say, and wonder if this is a sign of a disability. But what does this mean for me? For one thing I recently discovered is that Asperger syndrome is a pattern of symptoms and social anxiety is just one symptom. But it's not the same thing as regular social anxiety. So if you're just saying I'm socially awkward, well, I'm not. I experience a different array of Asperger's symptoms which differentiates me from others. Although I find difficulty asking for help, and that is because of the symptoms I experience from Asperger's. As an Aspie, I experience poor social interaction and inappropriate comments a lot of the time. My speech pattern, as you can tell, sounds a little different, sort of robotic and quiet, and I also have difficulty managing my emotions. As previously mentioned, there were people in the past who were famous due to their Asperger's, such as Emily Dickinson, Andy Warhol, and Courtney Love. Even Da Vinci, Albert Einstein, and Walt Disney are just some of the creative nonconformists who have been posthumously and controversially diagnosed with learning disabilities. Each of these people have had their own take on how they used Asperger's or their learning disability to their advantage. They are all great figures of the past who were diagnosed with Asperger's, but one in particular stood out to me, and this is Emily Dickinson. Posthumously, Emily Dickinson was diagnosed to have Asperger's, but during her life she had shown the earliest known symptoms of Asperger's due to her intense passion for writing and becoming one of the greatest poets of all time. If you took a look at her writing, both she and her writing didn't follow the expected pattern, meaning the way that was initially intended by society in the 19th century. However, if you also took a look at her personal life, you can notice that she wasn't terribly social, but all the while she did have a few lifelong friends and a good rapport with children, but she did not marry later in her life and did not have children of her own. What about me? Well, to me, Asperger's is merely a trait. While some experts consider Asperger's to be a difference or disability, well, I don't really see it that way. Asperger's is a trait and personality which defines me as a character and explicitly outlines how far and where I want to go as a person. As I mentioned before, I have my own mixed opinions about Asperger's. As I mentioned before, I experience my own set of symptoms which differs from others, and these symptoms, such as lack of eye contact, lack of communication, and inappropriate comments, leads me to be in a lesser known category for people, and I have trouble to make friends and experience anything with people. As a result, I can seem timid, awkward, or shy to naked eye, but I tend to try and push myself to experience some aspects of life to a certain degree, which I find interesting. I also experience a tendency to argue a lot with others, a habit which has been going on for the past year or more now, but a habit which I find unhealthy and I really want to remove from my own person. But as well, I tend to experience the need to negatively call out people or have my own negative opinions on people. As a result, I am mainly detached from people, and this is supported by one of my parents' claims.
The other challenge that you for your relationship with Asperger's that you found?
I found that I sometimes don't I take some things a bit too seriously and some things a bit too harsh.
I think the word you're looking for is literally, isn't it?
Yes.
Take it a bit too literally.
Yes.
Which is true. And you probably don't understand there's a lot of humour involved, or just some of the messaging that people pass on to you is not to be taken literally. There's a hidden context or hidden message in that. Mm-hmm. And that's very hard to...
As you can tell, I experience some diverse opinions about Asperger's and myself, but I also consider Asperger's to be the better part of myself, a trait which defines me from everyone else and separates me from the larger demographic of people, as well as make myself a unique being in this large world. But as well, you might find that as well about yourselves. You might find that you are struggling with Asperger's or other learning disabilities and find that to be the worst characteristic about yourself, but well, it's mainly your negative feelings about yourself, and you shouldn't down yourself on that value and should experience your disability or difference, as you will, to your own positive value. The process of making this documentary, I have had a better understanding of Asperger's and about myself, as well as understanding that there are other people who are out there who are probably suffering or experiencing the same things that I experience on a daily basis, and I wish them good luck with trying to solve their problems. But as well, I hope that you will be able to attach yourself to or hold on to something in your life which greatly benefits you and you're able to cherish it during your life. As well, if you, the watcher, don't have Asperger's, maybe possibly in the future, if you have children of your own, you're able to show this documentary to them so they can understand their gifts and what makes us unique from the larger demographic.